The Xperia 1 Mark V is not even out yet, but the APKs for the camera application are already leaked. And I have my Xperia 5 Mark IV here, and I will try it out right now and will show you what is new there. And if you can see also improvements on your older devices, just like the 5 Mark IV or the 1 Mark IV. So let's get started. So here we have the Xperia 5 Mark IV. I already have installed the update for the Photo Pro app. We can just check out the version number here. Let me just go into the app info, and there should be somewhere the version number there. You can see the version number of this version. I only installed this one here and only show you the Photo Pro app because the Video Pro app was not working fine for me. It has had issues with stabilization not being active at all when I have seamless zoom enabled and such things. So I removed the update. So if you have issues with the device, first of all, it's also working with the 5 Mark III, 1 Mark III, 1 Mark IV, even 1 Mark II, I think, and 5 Mark II. If you have some issues, just force stop the application, go to storage and cache and clear the cache and clear the storage. Then the APK should work fine. Otherwise, if you still have issues, you can always go in here and uninstall the update, and then it will go back to the original app, which will work fine then. What I noticed with the application is it's launching very, very quickly, and if I press the shutter button, I think it is quite a bit faster than it was before in taking the shot, which is quite interesting, as well as when you press the button multiple times. I think it still has a little bit of like a delay there, but it's quite a bit faster than it was before, as I noticed. Otherwise, when I'm in auto mode, of course, I have the typical user interface, but I also have now the portrait orientation user interface with all the options here that I can use. What is really new here is when you are going into the basic mode and you switch to your selfie camera, you still have the bokeh option here that is working for selfies as well. I will show it to you in a minute as well. And otherwise, what's not working and what you don't see are the various different profiles here that you can choose, various different color profiles and so on. Let me just go to the P mode here. There you can see it says standard. Usually when you click on this, you can choose between the various different color modes here that are not available on the previous generations, only on the Mark V generation. Otherwise, I think we have new icons here. They tweaked the icon set a little bit, especially when it comes to eye autofocus and face autofocus, and I think you can only turn on face and eye AF here, not just eye AF and just face AF, which I think was possible earlier. Yeah, this is something new. Then I think the icons here have changed as well, and yeah, we have the old kind of way of navigating through the menu here, and yeah, the new settings here. When you go in between, you can always go into the landscape mode or the portrait mode, and you have the user interface adapting to whatever you like to adapt to. The menu itself, you can see, has also now this kind of way of presenting and the old way of presenting, which is nice as well. So they also were working on the menu itself. In terms of options here, I did not see much of differences here. Everything's working fine so far. Also, the issue that press and hold to the button is opening up the app for me nicely, so no issues there. Yeah, my quick walk through the user interface here. I think we should take a look at some photos. I will compare this 5 Mark IV with the 1 Mark IV that I'm recording here right now with the original software, to check out if you see some differences in terms of photos. And then also we'll show you a little bit of video, because when I'm in video mode here, I can now choose the resolution directly here from the menu, which is very cool. But I also have the possibility to choose dynamic range wide, which is cool. And I think it has some stabilization option, at least a weak stabilization option. Enable, you can see, I go to standard here, it's a bit wider. And if I go in here to wide, let me switch to wide. It's cropping in a bit, so I think it has some stabilization enabled there. Yeah, we have to see. Maybe it's just a fluke and an issue with the device itself. We have to see and take a look at this as well in video mode. The bokeh mode here, bokeh effect, is not available currently in selected video size, but when you go to full HD here, you can select even bokeh for video mode, which is quite interesting. And yeah, we'll show you this as well. So maybe let's start with this bokeh in video mode option. Sadly, the bokeh mode for video was available there, but crashes all the time when you stop recording, which is kind of a bummer, I would say. So it's only available for the 1 Mark V so far, even though the option is showing up. It's not working for the 5 Mark IV or the 1 Mark IV in this regard, or all the other devices. So it's not only software, there's a bit of hardware and probably drivers that need to be tweaked there as well for this to work out. So this is one of the limitations that you will get with this device. What will work, because I already did this, is the wide range test, and I will show you how it will look like. I was outside just a minute ago and recorded something without my external mic on to also give you a demonstration how good the sound will sound like, if they improved anything there, also in terms of wind filtering and so on. And also will show you the wide range mode that is now available in the Photo Pro app for video as well. So what do you think about this one? So this is now recording with the Xperia 5 Mark IV using the Xperia 1 Mark V's APK for Photo Pro app in the basic mode for video, because the Video Pro app for some reason did not work with stabilization for me. This is the Photo Pro app, no external microphone, just the internal mics. How does it look like? And the cool thing is I can also go and change it to wide range. Let's check it out. So this is now the wide range option that we have in the Photo Pro app in the basic mode for video recording, which is quite cool. Before it was only available in the Video Pro app. How does it look like? How does it work with HDR? Is stabilization still there? I think it should be a bit weaker in terms of stabilization, if there is any stabilization, because this was an issue with the Video Pro app. When you turned on wide range, it did not record with stabilization enabled. How does it look like now here in the Photo Pro app with the Xperia 1 Mark V's APK? Here the photos: on the left the Xperia 1 Mark IV, on the right the Xperia 5 Mark IV with the 1 Mark V's Photo Pro app. And for everyone who expects a little bit of like improvements on the Xperia 5 Mark IV thanks to the 1 Mark V Photo Pro app, I have to disappoint a bit, because I don't see them. There is marginally changes only. Here I even would say the 1 Mark IV has a bit of a sharper shot and more contrasty kind of shot, and the text is more easily readable on the 1 Mark IV in comparison to the 5 Mark IV with the 1 Mark V app. In terms of HDR, marginally changes as well. Here, for example, in this kind of situation, you can see my collection of IEMs. We have a little bit of a different HDR effect, where I cannot read the down stuff here, but I can read here, together with passion written there on this car, that I don't see here. But you can also see that there's a slight different kind of white balance here, more greenish, and slight kind of different angle of view, because I did not use a tripod for this one. So yeah, this might be just this. Next shot, selfies. Selfies, I see a difference. Here you can see the Xperia 5 Mark IV has much brighter background there with the 1 Mark V's Photo Pro app, and more yellowish kind of face, so it's optimizing my face a little bit there. And I'm not sure if it has face optimization turned on, but if I compare it to the 1 Mark IV, 1 Mark IV is more realistic. The 5 Mark IV with its 1 Mark V app is a bit more optimizing my face there. Therefore, we have a little bit of overexposure here. A cool feature of the 1 Mark V that is on the 1 Mark IV with the 1 Mark V Photo Pro app that is working is bokeh mode for the front-facing camera, that is not available on the Xperia 1 Mark IV with the Photo Pro app, and it's working quite nicely, I have to say. So it is has HDR enabled, which is cool, and I think the cutout, could be a bit more optimized, but it's not bad. It's not really bad, I have to say. Cutout is quite okay. And yeah, you get a nice shot out of it, and great that we have this feature here. So if you rely on such feature, it is there already. Otherwise, HDR, do we see much of a difference? There's a slight difference. Again, the sun was like a little bit faster than I was doing the shot here. This is why you can see it's a bit darker here in this shot, a bit brighter here, but I also don't see much of HDR differences here at all, I have to say. And this shot here, I even think that, again, the 1 Mark IV is a bit sharper than the 5 Mark IV in this regard, which is a bit of unsharp in this kind of situation, which could be the TOF sensor, the 1 Mark IV helping, and the 5 Mark IV not having it, maybe misfocusing. But also the background, just keep a look at there. It's identical. It's just not much of a change. Also here, not much of a change. I don't see a difference in terms of colors at all. Maybe slightly warmer color tones here and a bit cooler on the 1 Mark IV, but again, it could be like a split-second difference in terms of also the sun having a nice or different kind of color. Otherwise, I think also in terms of sharpness, the same. Not much of a difference. Don't see much of a difference here with the 1 Mark V's Photo Pro app. Also in dark situations, maybe again a bit of warmer color tone on the 5 Mark IV, but in terms of detail levels and so on, it's basically the same. Maybe a bit more noise on the 5 Mark IV here with this app. Night mode, by the way, it's not available here as a dedicated night mode that you can turn on manually. It's just the automatic one, and this all proves also together with this one where it's super dark night now. Couldn't see the toolbox. I think the 5 Mark IV with the 5 Mark IV with the 1 Mark 5's Photo Pro app is doing quite a better job in terms of colors here. White balance, where it's like magenta cast, and it's sharper definitely thanks to the 3D time-of-flight sensor on the 1 Mark IV. But yeah, both not doing well, though the colors on the 5 Mark IV with the 1 Mark V Photo Pro app is a bit better. In general, I think yeah, you don't have the dedicated night mode available, and this proves to me that for the photos, the Photo Pro app is not so important. What is really important is the driver. So the driver is where they put most of the work in, besides the hardware probably, and most of the features that you have in the new Photo Pro app are really driver specific. There are only a few that are app specific, Photo Pro app specific here. Most of them are probably in the camera driver or in the sensor driver or whatever they're using there. So you don't see much of an improvement with the Photo Pro app of the 1 Mark V on your Xperia 5 Mark IV or 1 Mark IV in this regard. Only the new user interface that can turn around, as well as the selfie cam that has now the bokeh option available. These are the only two features in regards to this that I would say make sense. The video mode has some issues there with stabilization, so I think it's best to stick with the Photo Pro app that your device comes with and the official updates that Sony maybe delivered through an Android upgrade or something like this. So it doesn't make sense right now to change your Photo Pro, Video Pro, Cinema Pro app to one of those apps that are meant for usage on the 1 Mark V. So this is my conclusion for this little video. So kind of a bummer, isn't it? The Photo Pro app was not really working right with all the features, even though it was one of the best apps that I got working on the 5 Mark IV and the 1 Mark IV for that matter. But yeah, we don't get any benefits, real benefits out of it there in terms of photography. There are a few things that I showed you already that are beneficial, like the new user interface and the selfie bokeh, but that's it basically. Also the video, I don't see much of an improvements there. So yeah, most of the improvements probably had happened underneath the app level, in the driver level there, as well as the sensor size itself and the sensor on the 1 Mark V. So don't expect Sony to update the camera apps on the 5 Mark IV, on the 1 Mark IV or the previous generations, because just why? It's a little bit of extra work and effort they have to put in. Maybe with Android 14 we will get a slightly upgraded version of the Photo Pro app here that has this rotation feature as well, but all the other things I don't see necessarily improvements in terms of the algorithms for photos. So they did not improve anything in the camera application, but rather it's in the driver level when it comes to color, saturations, sharpness, HDR and so on. It's specific to the camera driver. So that's my conclusion of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have some questions regarding the apps, you can write down in the comment section. That's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, bye.